Well, I'm probably going to get fired over this, but it's something that's been weighing on my mind and something that I feel needs to be said, so I'm going to say it. And I'm just asking that people be respectful of my family. I just had a new baby, and I'm just trying to be as open and honest as I possibly can be with where I see potential problems with how our state handled mail-in voting. Um, the machine issues that are being looked at by Rudy Giuliani, um, I think they're barking up the wrong tree there. They're going to go through that and they're going to find that the machine code is pretty solid, in my opinion. Could things have been manipulated? Possibly, possibly, but the reality of the situation is we've been through many elections in the past, and in fact, even a Democratic political action group came through in 2016. They were angry about Donald Trump winning that election, and they came to our customers and they said, "Hey, uh, we want to do a total recount of the entire state. So we want all of your ballot images, and we want to compare them to the results that came out of the machines." Well, it came to find out that the ballot images and the machines were pretty much dead on. There's just there's just no um, financial incentive for a company like Dominion or a company like Election Source to be involved with that type of widespread fraud. I mean, you're risking your entire company to do that. So um, that's just that's just not happening in my opinion. And if it is, it would be a huge surprise to me. It should be looked into for sure because there's always bad actors. There could be bad actors at a company. Um, but as far as I can tell, that route is barking up the wrong tree. But there is, unfortunately, because of the way that we did mass mail-out voting, there is a potential for a a huge vulnerability in the election system. And that vulnerability is this right here. All of the ballots that come out of the machines when they are made are digital PDF files. They are unsecured. There is no chain of custody when it comes to them. And what I mean by that is when they are created on the county's software, the EMS software, they are sent out to the printer. They are sent out to our company as a company that needs to create tests for the machines. It's just a logical fact that we need that ballot in order to create those tests. So, you know, back before we did mass mail-in voting, nobody thought twice about shipping those digital ballots to the appropriate sources. Nobody really felt like there needed to be a secure chain of command because, what are you going to do with the digital ballot? Every precinct gets an allotment of ballots on election day, and people come in and they vote in person, and there's a certain amount of registered absentee voters, and it's minuscule. But the problem is uh, the way we very sloppily handled mass mail-out voting. We just kind of sent them around, and there wasn't a whole lot of accurate tracking as to where those ballots were going and who was receiving them and who was sending them back in. And there was some tracking, but just with the sheer amount of ballots, there wasn't there wasn't a good chain of custody for the physical ballots either. So because of that, I mean, this flash drive here, I wrote tests for the state of Michigan. So this flash drive here had all of the ballots for Wayne County on it. And I'm here in my bedroom right now. This is all the ballots for Wayne County were on this. They're not on it anymore. I've deleted them since. But they were on that flash drive before the election, weeks before the election. So you know, if some, you know, if I can have them in my bedroom, right? Nobody blinked an eye about me having these digital files. Um, so who else had them, right? If nobody cared that I had in my bedroom all the ballots for Wayne County, I know for a fact that when those ballots get sent to the printer, they get put on a Google Drive. Everybody thinks, Google and Dropbox and Amazon are secure platforms, but in reality, any high-level person at those companies has backdoor clearance to those drives. So, all it takes is a scan of those drives and somebody at Google can have all the ballots for Wayne County. I mean, there just is no chain of custody. And I'm not here saying that laws were broken. I'm not here saying that election source is nefarious. I'm not here saying that Dominion is even nefarious. But what I am saying is there is no chain of custody for digital ballots. So if some outside actor wanted to come in with a nefarious goal of printing, 100,000 ballots before election night, it's certainly possible. All they would have needed was this. I had it in my bedroom. That's all they would have needed. And you can go to any printer, probably not a commercial one because they'd probably, be like, why are you printing official ballots with us? Who are you? But if you had your own printer, I could print it on an inkjet printer at home. I could have taken one of these ballots from this flash drive and I could have printed 10,000 of them and on a laser printer at my office. And if I had, printed them, they're 8.5 by 11, so it's very common. I could print them as long as I print them on cardstock. There's a ballot stock thickness paper that you need. But that's about it. That's about the only, and I'm pretty sure that a machine would read regular weighted paper. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that they would. They'd probably read cardstock paper too. But there's a specific ballot stock thickness, and I don't know if it's just regular cardstock or not, or if there is actually a specific ballot stock thickness. But yeah, the machine is agnostic as long as those timing marks, which are on the PDF, are correct. A ballot that's printed by the official printer versus a ballot that's printed at home by a person that has the ballots ahead of time, because we need the ballots ahead of time because we need to write tests. It's just something that we need to do. And I'm not a nefarious actor. I didn't pass these ballots off to anybody. And I'm sure nobody at Election Source did. And I'm sure nobody at Dominion did. But, who's to say somebody at the county knew about them? Or, maybe not necessarily somebody at the county office, but somebody knew that that these ballots were being stored somewhere and they took them, or somebody at Google took them off of the Google Drive. I mean, there's plenty of avenues to get these ballots in digital form and print them off. So if there was election fraud, and I'm not saying that there was, but if there was, that's probably where it would have been done. And because of our irresponsible mail-in voting system, where we just mass mailed it out, there's plenty of cover for 100,000 ballots coming in at midnight. Who's going to say? Who's going to say, oh, that's 100,000 ballots. They all came in for Joe Biden. It doesn't matter because there's no chain of custody. Nobody knows what to expect. With any other election, if 100,000 ballots came in at midnight, it would be obvious fraud. But nobody considers it fraud now because maybe there was 100,000 ballots that just were stored somewhere and nobody thought to open them up. Nobody knows. And all the ballots are anonymous. So you'll never know. You'll never know. That's the story of this election, is you will never be guaranteed, because of the mail-in system, you will never be guaranteed to know for sure the legitimate president, or any of the down ballot votes for that matter. This was a cluster fuck. This was a cluster, and people are being disenfranchised. And what I'm here to tell you is that it's totally possible to print 100,000 ballots. It's totally possible. I had this weeks before the election, plenty of time. You know, if you're a nefarious actor and you wanted to print 100,000 ballots and put them in boxes just in case, as long as you have this file that I had personally, you can do that. So, is there avenues for election fraud? Yeah, absolutely. Is it from the machines? I don't think so. Possible. Is there nefarious actors at Election Source? No, I don't think so. Is there nefarious actors at Dominion? I don't really know people at Dominion. I know people at Election Source. They're very honest people. So please, for the love of God, leave us alone. I am just trying to tell you what's on my mind, that there is an avenue for possible fraud here. And I just had a new baby, so please be merciful to me. Leave me alone. And please be merciful to the people at Election Source and leave them alone. They're good people. And the people at Dominion, I'm sure most of them are just good people. You know, is there corruption at the top? I don't know anybody at Dominion. I don't know the company at all. Really, I don't. You know, we're a contractor for them. But you know, we've run like I said, we run elections in the past for Dominion, and they've come out completely scot-free, a-okay. And the issue that happened in Anne Arundel County, I mean, you have to leave that clerk alone. She's, you know, what happened there is completely innocent. And you know, they had a late comer to the election, somebody that didn't get put on the ballot, right? So they had coding for this ballot without that person on it, and they had a card with the coding for the person that was supposed to be on the ballot. So they were supposed to run the coding with the extra candidate. Instead, they ran the coding with the previous, without the candidate in it, and that screwed everything up. When they realized it on election night, they reran everything with the proper coding, and everything was fine. There was no, it's not some sort of a mass conspiracy from Dominion to switch votes. But is there an avenue for election fraud? Absolutely. There's no chain of custody on ballots. It's a big deal. That's a big freaking deal. And if election officials don't take that seriously, then they are screwing the public out of an accurate election. That's all I wanted to say. Bye.